beginning. Downtown, Petco Park, a new beginning. Let's go. Started back rocking the brown. Ever since we've been knocking them down. Baby said she wanna go to the game. Taught her how to say Padres gang. Started back rocking the brown. Ever since we've been knocking them down. Mitchell and Ness with the old school name. All of the homies holler Padre gang. Yeah, they.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 219 of the Talking Friars podcast and YouTube show. I'm your host, Ben Fadden, coming to you after the Padres split a 4-game set with the Washington Nationals. That's definitely not what I wanted going into this series. You know, you're facing a Washington Nationals team that has double the amount of losses as wins. You have a Padres team that's supposed to be, you know, these World Series contenders. And you have especially, you know, Josh Hader coming in, who's best closer in baseball probably when we got him, or at least that was the conversation. He was one of the best relievers. You know, you get my point. And then now we're here Sunday night, and he's not even the Padres closer right now. Temporarily, he's not the Padres closer anymore, you know? So disappointing series. I think a series split is not the end of the world. It's better than a series loss, right, against the Nationals. But we'll get into all that, all 4 games. I know I talked about the first couple games a little bit on episode 218 because I was talking about Josh Hader and him struggling and all that. Or I might have talked about Thursday. I think that I did that Friday. I talked about Thursday's game. So we still can talk about all 4 games. And then they got an off day tomorrow, and then 2 games against Cleveland before, I believe, heading out on the road to face Kansas City starting on Friday. So the good news for the Padres is they have 2 off days this week. Got an off day tomorrow, got an off day on Thursday, and then 3 games against Kansas City. And then they head to San Francisco for 3 games against the Giants, and then another off day that Thursday. So September and this last week of August, it's pretty good to them in terms of off days. Now, in terms of the schedule, it's not as great to them. You know, Dodgers still, they have to play them 9 times. The Mariners, Cardinals, Giants are always tough. So that's why it's disappointing that they can't win these series against the Nationals, right? Teams that they should beat, struggled against the Marlins, right? Just stuff like that. It's kind of like last year's team, right? Where they weren't able to win those series, you know, against the Rockies earlier this year, against the Rockies on the road. Series like that where they should win and they just haven't won them. That's where it's disappointing because you got other teams that will win those series and will win those games. As for the Brewers, before we get into these games here, before I forget, I don't want to. Brewers did win today 5-2 against the Cubs, but the Phillies lost today. And with the Padres winning, they are now they jump Philly. They're second in the wild card. They have the second wild card, excuse me. Half game up on Philly for that second wild card spot. And then Philadelphia is a game and a half up on Milwaukee for the final wild card spot. So if you're curious about San Diego and Milwaukee's gap there, the Padres have a 2-game lead on Milwaukee right now for that final wild card spot, if that makes sense. They have the 2 spot, the second wild card, but all that matters is them getting in right now, right? That's what we're worried about. And so they have that 2-game lead on Milwaukee for now. But Milwaukee does have that harder schedule. They're not really playing the Cardinals that much. It's Pittsburgh, it's Cincinnati, it's teams like that. And Padres, again, got to play the Dodgers 9 more times. So it's uphill from here. But going back to this weekend, a series split, not the end of the world. You would have wished it was a series win. You know, those first 2 games, Thursday, Friday, they definitely could have won both of those games. Easily should have won probably one of those games. Josh Hader he's not the guy right now, and that's why Bo Mill took him out of the closer role. I thought Nick Martinez and Robert Suarez, they look really good today, so props to them. And we'll get to today's game, but just having some people get in here live. If you're on replay or on the podcast, I appreciate you listening and watching. What's up, Gabe? Irie. See, Irie says he's not Frazier 2.0. I think he's talking about Josh Bell. Josh Bell having a homer in back-to-back games. Yesterday he was hitting as a lefty. Today it was as a righty, kind of sliced it into the Petco Park porch. Yeah, most runners left on base in baseball. Yep. They left, how many did they leave on base today? Um, they left, it says they left 6 on base today. They were 1 for 3 with runners in scoring position. I believe Drury got to second on that hustle double um, before Bell hit the home run in the 6th inning off of Corbin. But today, we'll talk about today's game first and then go Saturday, Friday, Thursday. Since today's game just happened, Padres won 2-1. I thought it was interesting that they had Will Myers lead off in this game. I know Crony wasn't starting, Grisham wasn't starting. Both had pinch hit at bats, but I thought at first they were gonna give those guys like those double off days. You know how they have their off day the next day, so that game before that they give that guy the day off to you know you're not missing 2 games, you're only missing 1, but you get 2 days off. So some teams like to do that. So I thought that's kind of what they were doing there. Cronenworth, he did ground out today. Uh, Grisham, he went and played center, had an at bat, 0 for 1. But I mean, the big story here, well, there's 2 big stories, right? Maybe 3. Like there was some really good stuff coming out of today's game. Yeah, you could talk about some missed opportunities, but we'll get to a lot of the missed opportunities and the bad stuff from Thursday, Friday. What I want to focus on is more of the positive, definitely for today's game. And Josh Bell, he looks like he's found something. I've said this on the pregame show a couple times. His practice swing, he's really emphasizing getting down at the ball. I didn't really like that. He was hitting a lot of ground balls. Today, I was like 5 rows behind home plate by the visitors' dugout, and I was noticing his practice swings. Maybe this is just what he does as a righty. We haven't seen him a lot, so this is kind of my first time just looking at this. But as a lefty, he was really chopping down at those practice swings. As a righty, it's more level or more elevated. And we saw it obviously today with the home run. It was more of a line drive, and obviously went right inside the foul pole there. They'll there, excuse me. Kind of sliced it in there. But his swing is looking better. And he went 1 for 4 today, drove in those 2 runs, himself and Brandon Drury. Yeah, he struck out once, left 2 guys on base. But hey, the pitching did its job. Josh ended up doing his job. You come through, you drive in 2 runs every day, I'm gonna be happy. And then with the pitching, I mean, Shamanaya, yeah, was I worried going into today's start? Definitely. His last start, after that start where there wasn't many pitches thrown at all, and if I remember correctly, he threw pretty much the same amount of pitches last start as he did today, and today he went like 3 more innings more. Um, but yeah, his last start, he had that tired arm. And that was like that made me worried a little bit. I was like, "Okay, so if he has the tired arm, then why are we even starting him there? Like, he knows the arm's tired, he's not pitching at his best. Is Reese Kinnear a better option? Is someone else a better option, than Sean Manaea?" But he came back, didn't throw a bullpen in between starts. At least that's what he said he was planning on not doing, is not throw that bullpen, in between starts. So he came back and pitched really, really well today, throwing a lot of strikes compared to Patrick Corbin. At one point, I saw Patrick Corbin had like 40 strikes, 30 balls. Sean Manaea at one point, I think, had 40 strikes, 10 balls. Like, it was a huge difference there between Manaea and Corbin. And Manaea, yeah, he's not going to blow you away with his fastball or anything. Um, but it's good movement on those breaking pitches. And, seeing close up Manaea, like when he's on, like he's a good actual pitcher, right? Solid actual pitcher. Did he give up the home run to Nelson Cruz? Yeah, that ball was absolutely demolished. Hit the E in the Western Metal building. I know there's multiple, but the E in I believe Metal is the one that he hit. I thought that ball was gonna get on top of the roof. But yeah, he smashed that ball. But like other than that, I mean, he pitched to contact, got some ground balls, and then there was tremendous defense behind him, which You have tremendous defense. You have a guy that's throwing a lot of strikes. That's a really good combination. We saw exactly how that turns out for the Padres when that happens today, and that resulted in a win and 7 strong innings from Anaya and amazing plays by the defense. Was it the 5th inning? Ha-Seong Kim, is that the play of the year? One of the plays of the year? I always look back to the Cronenworth play that he made when Nick Martinez was pitching against Milwaukee, up the middle, dove, got up from his feet, threw it to first, got him out to end the inning. I look at that play, like, defensively. There's been some others, but, like, Ha-Seong Kim's today, pop up down the third baseline. I didn't think he caught it I didn't have a great view because there was people standing and there was the netting there, but I thought he caught that ball, or excuse me, I didn't think he caught the ball. What I saw from my angle was Kim running. Manny was he was running, but you definitely felt like Kim had the chance to get it if either of those two did have a chance to go get it. And Kim, I just saw him go right into the wall, and then I just saw people just standing there and almost like shock a little bit. And so I was like, "Uh-oh, so is he hurt now? Like, this is bad. This is gonna be bad here." We already have Fernando out for the year. If Kim gets hurt here, that's gonna suck. Matthew Batten or Eggy Rosario is gonna be getting called up. But yeah, his back extended if you look at the pictures, but he did catch the ball. Tremendous catch. Showed the ball to the umpire. Um, Man, he is a fan favorite. And then he comes up in his next at bat. I know he got out, but then he busts it down the line and almost beats the throw. I think it was a ground out to CJ at shortstop. I mean, this guy hustles. He is one of the best defensive shortstops in baseball. Padre fans already know that. And since Fernando was out with that suspension, it really feels like, at least to me, that Kim is really taking on this starting shortstop role really well. And he is performing really well, and he's getting higher and higher in the lineup, right? Like, he's been bottom third of the lineup, 8th in the lineup sometimes. Today, I know not all of their starters were in, but today he was hitting 6th, with Profar hitting 7th because he's been scuffling a little bit. Then Alfaro, Azokar. I know Grisham's usually going to be playing center, not Azokar. Um, and so maybe Grisham leads off, or they have Profar go back to lead off. I wonder if they're open to having Ha-Seong Kim lead off. Let me know in the comments here live on YouTube. Let me know, or in the chat. Let me know your thoughts on having Ha-Seong Kim hit lead off. I think that's um, something interesting because if you think about it, you have Juan Soto, a lefty, hitting second. Then you have Manny hitting third, a righty. And then you can go Josh Bell. Most nights he's a lefty hitting fourth. Or you can have Drury, whatever. And then, it's a pretty balanced top, half of the lineup. I think that's something to think about. I've liked what I've seen out of Ha-Seong Kim at the plate as of late. I don't know if the Padres believe it's the best to have Will lead off every day like he did today. But hey, a win is a win. A tremendous, I thought, win from, if you're looking at it from like the big view, most aspects of this game, pitching wise, Manaea, Suarez, Martinez, they all pitched well. Manaea only gave up that one home run. And then seeing those positive signs from Josh Bell mainly, right? Ha-Seong Kim got a hit today. Profar, 2 hits today. Even Azokar got a hit in his first at bat. I believe it was a single to left. So there was a lot of good things. Obviously, we'll get to the bat, and that's mostly the offense. And Josh Hader, we'll get to that Thursday, Friday. But today, I thought it was a pretty encouraging win. Here's a comment. Just saw this. So Ha-Seong Kim, that play that he made, I just talked about, and it looked like his back extended, and we were kind of worried at the ballpark, like, is he going to be okay? And Ha-Seong Kim said after the game, "I have a 6-pack. I was okay. It was no problem." So I guess it hit him in the abs or whatever, but he was able to just go back to playing baseball because he's ripped. So it looks like he took it well. So that's good. I want to give props to Shamanaya, or I already gave props to Shamanaya, Robert Suarez, and Nick Martinez. I mean, Robert Suarez pitched Friday. He looked good. And then today, went an inning, didn't give up any runs, didn't walk anyone, struck out 2 guys. Uh, yeah, gave up 2 hits, but got out of that situation. It was first and second, I believe. And then he struck out. I forget who it was. Let me go check that real quick. But it was a big strikeout, 8th inning. Joey Meneses. Yeah. So there was that stolen. Alex Call stole second. So second and third, actually. My bad. Second and third, and he struck out Joey Meneses, who actually, I think he's hitting over 300. Really, really good job out of Robert Suarez to get out of that inning. In terms of like the decision by Baumel to bring in Suarez, even though Manaea was only at what 69 pitches, 51 of them were strikes, throwing a lot of strikes. But you got to remember his last start, he did say he had a tired arm, and the Padres probably got more than they expected out of Manaea today. They were probably expecting 5 or 6 innings, just the way that he's been pitching. And they had the off day tomorrow, so if they wanted to go full bullpen, if Manaea wasn't looking great, they could have. But Manaea was looking good, and they just saw the 7 innings, and they were like, you know what, we're good here. We'll go with Suarez. We'll go with Martinez, and then Martinez, his changeup up close looks nasty, just like it does on TV. He went and got the save. His ERA is now 3.10, but that's starting and in the rotation. I don't have the splits right in front of me of him in the him in the bullpen compared to the rotation, but I do know as a reliever his splits are lower as a reliever than as a starter. So yeah, that was the win today, 2-1. Padres are now 68 and 56. Let me check some comments here if anyone had some thoughts on today's game, and then we'll move to Saturday's game. P.A. Fruck, I think that's how he says his name. He says, I think he's talking about Bell here. He's been a pro and successful for a while. I feel Bell could benefit from more bend in his knees and less of such a tall stance. Yeah, I don't know about the stance part. Like, it feels like that's just who he's been. So I don't know if you want to mess with that. For me, it was just more about his feel up at the plate, and he talked about that with reporters, I think Saturday, before he hit that home run as a lefty. I think it's probably just feel for him, like I just said, and more like the launch angle. It just felt like he was kind of closing off his swing a little bit during this really tough 1-for-30 stretch, and felt like just a lot of ground balls. There were some strikeouts too, and those strikeouts, it was kind of like he was just flipping the wrist, not fully swinging. Um, that's what I kind of observed from Bell. But hey, it looks like he has some feel back, and so that's a very, very good positive for the Padres going forward. And that's where we move to Saturday's game. Padres won this one 2-1, so they won today 2-1, won yesterday 2-1. Excuse me. Morejon got the win. Garcia got the save. Juan Soto came up big with the go-ahead home run. Josh Bell hit the game-tying home run, right? His first home run as a Padre, yeah, tied it 1-1 in the 5th off Josiah Gray. And Josiah Gray, man, he had a lot of walks. Let me check how many walks he finished with. Finished with 5 walks, only struck out 3. And Sweeney was saying on the broadcast, effectively wild. He was wild. I guess he was effective, but some of that was the Padres taking themselves out of scoring chances or just not coming through in a scoring chance. They had 9 left on base through the first 4 innings. They finished leaving 11 on base, 0 for 6 with runners in scoring position. So that's part of the negative, just like Thursday and Friday with the offense. But like Musgrove in this game, he pitched really, really well. And the positives, obviously, Soto coming up huge. Only a second home run as a Padre, but he continues to get on all the time. Did he get on? I don't think he got on today. He almost hit a bomb today. No, he did not. So his on base streak ended today. Was that 25 games that it ended at? Somewhere around there. It was like 25 game on base streak, dating back to when he was with the Nationals, obviously. And he finally didn't get on base today. The Nationals can, I guess, have that as a win today. But moving back to Saturday's game, it was good to see some power. Definitely like center field power from Soto. Almost hit another one today. That would have been 2 straight days where Bell and Soto homered. But Musgrove pitched really, really well. 6 innings, 1 earned run, didn't walk anyone, struck out 7. That one home run he gave up to that no-name dude that doesn't hit home. Lane Thomas, I think, is his name. I mean, what everyone's going to remember is the bare hand play. But we also got to remember that earlier in that same inning, he had that really good glove flip play, right? But that bare hand play, man, that was amazing. And I don't know if you guys saw it, but you can go look back at the video in the background. If you know Joe's family or know what they look like, you can see their reaction in the background. I think they were sitting in like the second or third row. If you look on the left side of the screen and you see their reaction when Joe barehands it, I love that. And their reaction when Bell hit that home run too. Just they're real Padre fans, and you just absolutely love to see it. Absolutely love to see it. And then Morahone, 2 innings, didn't give up any runs. Luis Garcia came in, didn't give up any runs. I don't know. Great is not the word to describe how Luis Garcia was last night. Yeah, I think it was first and second, and Brandon Drury. Part of it was Brandon Drury. I guess part of it was the Nationals, but I'll give more credit to Brandon Drury on that last play, the double play there. I think it was 1-6-5 double play, or not 3-6-5 double play. Drury got it. Kim tagged second. Kim threw it to Manny. Manny chased down the runner to end the game. Heads up play by the defense there. Wasn't the best. Was not the best win. I think today was a better win than yesterday's win. But again, a win is a win, and I'm going to take that. Just am. At this point, not having a, what do you call it? Not having a permanent. There we go. Not having a permanent closer and leaving all these guys on base. Josh Bell finally getting going here. I'll take a win whenever we can get it. And hopefully they can win both these games of this Guardian series, because you would have hoped that they could have swept this series, because Thursday, Friday, and which we'll get to here in a minute, both games were tied. And Hader came in and wasn't able to get it out of either of those. Bob gave him both chances and he wasn't able to get out of them. But yeah, Saturday's game, if they would have come through, just imagine what the score would have been if they would have come through there in some of those situations where they had all of those guys on base there in those first 4 innings, where they left 9 of them on base, And Joe was pitching well. It was 1-0 at one point, and he was making those bare hand plays and all that. The glove flip, getting the runner at home, that was huge, like I talked about a little bit earlier. It could have been, like 3-4-1 there at that point, and then Bell and Soto's home runs, they would have been great, but they wouldn't have been, the difference. So, yeah, the offense definitely needs to improve. It could have been better in this series, and it wasn't. But, hey, like I said earlier, a series split isn't as bad as, obviously a series loss. Now, I know it's a series split against the worst team in baseball, and you definitely wish they would have won this series. But, hey, it is what it is, Moving on to Friday's game. Man, let's talk about Thursday's game first, because I think it's important to lay out the events of Hader and what led to Friday and how bad he was Friday as well, and the fans booing him off the field and all that. So let's talk about Thursday's game first. I know I'm skipping around here. I already talked about Sunday, then Saturday. Now Thursday's game. Padres lost this one 3-1. I mean, Darvish pitched amazing. Pitched into the 9th inning, 8 in the 3rd. Gave up 3 earned runs, but Hader gave up those 2 runs at the end there. Game was tied at 1 when Hader came in. None of those runs were charged against him, but just the walks when he came in, the hit by pitches, hitting Voit. I mean, he was making Voit look bad there with the fastball and all that, and then bounces one and hits Voit. It's like, man, just stay around the plate, attack the plate, don't nibble. I said that on the last episode after Thursday's game on Friday morning when I had to just give my thoughts on Hader because I was tired of it, of just seeing that. And then Friday, obviously, didn't know that was coming, right? But yeah, Thursday's game, man, it was not pretty at the end there. It was pretty watching you Darvish pitch though. He had it working. It was like it was better than Mania, I think. But like he was like what 70 pitches or something through. I want to say like 7 innings or something. He hit 70 pitches in the 7th inning or something. I remember seeing that on the jumbotron there when I was at the game. Like he was crazy efficient. Yeah, offense, left 8 on base, 0 for 4 with runners in scoring position. The night obviously belonged to Yu Darvish. He deserved to win that game. Having bases loaded, 1 out, and you have Soto and Grisham both strike out. Grisham struck out first, and then Soto come up, and he's like swinging for the fences. Like, I'm not going to get on Soto because I know he knows what he's doing. But just watching it, it looked like he was swinging for the fences, and he wasn't staying totally within his approach. But if you're up there with the bases loaded and it's a fastball up, like it's going to look like you're swinging for the fences. That's just the way it is. So I'm not going to get on him too much. But it was frustrating. Like the strikeouts were definitely frustrating. How many do they have in this game? They had 8 strikeouts total on Thursday. Left 14 on they left 8 on base, but they had 14 at bats, I believe, with guys on base. Yeah, Hader, man. I'm gonna go through the play-by-play here for Hader for Thursday's game. It was ugly. I mean, that was when Darvish was pitching. Darvish gave up those 2 runners. Yeah, you could ask, should have Darvish still stayed in that game? He was at 96 pitches, and maybe Hader should have come back, or excuse me, Hader shouldn't have come into that game. I know some people were making that point. It's like he hasn't pitched in 9 days. It's a tie game, high leverage situation. Bring in someone else. Bring in Garcia. Bring in someone else. Why are you pitching Hader when he's, he just hasn't pitched in those high leverage situations in a while? That's not when you pitch him. You give him a clean inning, blah, 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 right? I don't really agree with that. Like Bomel said after the game, they brought Josh Hader in for a reason to pitch in these high leverage situations. And so you got to trust the guy. I know Darvish was pissed off coming into the dugout when Bomel took him out, but hey, he did his job. He went 96 pitches. He did his job. Belmo gave him those couple base runners, and then he said he was done. Josh Hader just needs to pitch better. He needed to pitch better on Thursday. He didn't. He needed to pitch better on Friday. He definitely didn't. Maybe you could say he pitched better on Friday, but he obviously screwed it up himself by making that bad throw going to right field and all that. We'll talk about that. But here's the sequence from Hader on Thursday. I mean, comes in, again, it was a good at bat, I thought. He was pitching Luke Voit well. Voit wasn't catching up to his fastball, and then he hits him. And then he walks Nelson Cruz fastball in. I believe that was the pitch. That brings in Cesar Hernandez to give the Nationals the lead. And then he gives up an absolute bullet to left field. I was sitting in left field, gave up an absolute bullet. Will caught there in left. Alex Call scored. So, yeah, giving up bullets, walks, hit by pitches, it was ugly. And that came after having that really bad Giants performance, which feels like months ago, when it was back at home. Padres ended up winning that game. Manny walked it off with the home run, so I guess he got saved there. But he wasn't able to get a save in this series at all. I know both situations were tie games, so he wasn't able to get a win in this series, but that's his fault. He just has to pitch better. Bottom line, has to pitch better. Hit by pitch, walk, liner, sack fly. That single Abrams, he couldn't do anything about that. It was a lazy ground ball to second. But then it was another line out by Lane Thomas to Will. So just a lot of hard contact, pitches over the middle of the plate. Or when it's not over the middle of the plate, it looks like he's nibbling and trying to be absolutely perfect. And for me, like I said in episode 218, it's just like, for me, attack the zone, man. You got 99, attack the zone sometimes with the breaking ball. Maybe get a backdoor breaking ball and see how that goes. Like I'd rather see him lose attacking the strike zone and giving up a home run Friday. Like I'd rather see that. I'd rather not see him throw it away into right field like he did on Friday. But my point is, giving up that home run to Joey Meneses, like, yeah, that's not a great look, right? He gets booed off the field. But I'd rather have that happen than him walking and hitting guys, because those are free passes. You're not making them beat you, right? Meneses has to put a good swing on it and connect to hit that home run off of him on Friday. Voit didn't have to do anything. He got hit. Um, Nelson Cruz, yeah, he probably fouled off a couple pitches in that bat, but he got walked. He didn't have to do anything. It's a free pass. That's what makes me mad. Is the free passes, and Josh Hader was taken out of the closer role after Friday's game, which is what we're going to get to right now. And he should be out of that role right now. He needs to go find it. He was talking about how his release point is more working east to west instead of north to south on the mound. And what he means by that is his release point. It's probably too low. That's my guess. He's not working over the top of it too much. I know he's a rotational guy. If you watch him pitch, obviously, and so he's really rotating. So it can. I assume if you're rotating that much, and it does feel like he's kind of throwing across his body a lot. When you're doing that, I'm sure it's pretty easy to get into that habit where your release point isn't over the top, it's more east to west. And so that's what he said to the media. What his kind of problem is, he's going to be working with that. Don't know how many appearances it's going to take for him to get back into that closer role. 2, maybe 3. We'll see. That's what Bomel was saying before yesterday's game. But I'm glad that he's not in the closer role right now. I still trust him long term, but right now I don't trust him. He got 2 chances in this series, including Friday right here, and he blew them. And talking about Friday's game, by the way, it was a great atmosphere on Friday. Really, really fun game to go to. Great atmosphere. But the ending, I mean, that ending just sucked. There was some times where Padres left guys on base, but like Manny came through with a huge double to right center field. They left 7 on base, 2 for 8 with runners in scoring position. That's better than some of the games in this series. They benefited a little bit off the Abrams error. I'm just trying to look over some stuff before we get to Hader, because Hader's obviously the story. Snell, 5 innings, 3 earned runs. And Snell, I'm not going to get on Snell at all. He got into that kind of car accident Thursday night. I think he was probably driving home on Thursday. He had his brother, I think, in the car, and he was pulled over, and a drunk driver hit, I think, the police car. And so he was kind of involved there in an accident, and I'm just glad he's okay. I'm glad his brother's okay. And so I was fine with the quotes after the game. Maybe it'll rub people the wrong way. Hey, you got to care more. But he does care. If you've seen it this year, he does care. It's just, it was a weird situation there, obviously, right? Like, day after the accident, now he's pitching. He's just happy to be there and be okay. And he was just going to see how it went. And he gave up 3 earned runs. Command wasn't as great, as the start went on. But hey, I'm not going to get on him. 5 innings, 3 runs. And the bullpen pitched well, except Hader leading up to Hader. So he did kind of set up the team well. Giving up 3 runs, that's not the end of the world, I don't think. Sorry, 1 second. Need to block this person. Sorry. Yep, I see that. Spam, my bad. Well, it's their bad, but I'm just blocking that real quick. What was I talking about? The bullpen. Yeah, Hill, no runs. Suarez, no runs. Again, I thought he looked good in this series. I know he gave up a couple base runners today, or allowed a couple base runners, but Friday, 99, movement on his pitches. From where I was sitting, I thought he looked good. Martinez didn't give up any runs. Um, Garcia came in after Hader to finish off that ninth inning because Hader didn't get any outs. So these last 3 appearances, Hader's gotten 4 outs. So just really, really bad. So the bullpen outside of Hader pitched well. Hader's obviously the story. And holy cow, just bad. I was down in the by the I was down in the Premier Club seats near the end. Moved down there with some friends, and wow, that sucked to watch. I mean, he comes in, and it's kind of like you're holding your breath. Like, man, let's hope that he can throw some strikes. And we were watching him warm up. My friends and I was like, oh, okay. He just spiked one in the dirt during warm-ups. Like, this isn't gonna look good. And then that's exactly what happened. It didn't look good. Um, I'll go. I went through the play-by-play for Thursday, so might as well go through every play that Hader had on um, Friday. Don't want to miss anything. Walks Robles to start it, gives up the single, or excuse me, wasn't. I don't know why they really call it a single, to be honest. Like, that was all on Hader. It was a weak ground ball, so I guess it was a good pitch there where Thomas just missed it. But walking, number one, walking Robles to start it off, that's not great. He's more of a bottom of the order hitter. You walk him, and guess what? That free pass ends up scoring. And Hader, that play, that dribbler that he went and got, like, what is he doing there? Slow down. If you don't get the runner, you don't get the runner. But he comes, gets the ball, and it's like he keeps his momentum going towards the Padres dugout and throws this like two-seamer past Josh Bell, where Bell had like no chance to get it. I don't remember if he was trying to stay on the bag. I think he was, but he has no chance to get it. Then it hits off the wall, goes into right field, gets past Soto because he was running to try to go get the ball, didn't know it was going to rebound off the wall. He dives, gets past him, and a run scores there. Just really, really bad play. And that kind of sums up Josh Hader these last couple games. Like that play. That play was what? Not pretty? That's what Jader. That's what Josh Hader's been right now so far these last few games. Not pretty. And so hopefully he finds that release point, works on his mechanics because it was ugly. Gave up the home run to Alex Call. If I said Joey Meneses at the beginning, I apologize. It was not him. For some reason, I thought it was Meneses. Meneses has been hitting well. He's hit well against the Padres. I know he did in Washington, definitely. It was Alex Call who hit that home run to left. It got out in a hurry. Middle is what I saw from my seat. And it got out fast in left field. And that made it 6-3 Washington. Padres didn't score any runs in the ninth. A lot of pitches that they just didn't swing at that were fastballs like down the middle, it felt like. Or fastballs, 3-1 count, didn't swing at it. Those are frustrating. It's like they're trying to get you. They're like giving you good pitches to hit here, and you're not taking advantage of it, you know? There's some guys I guess I can point out that do that, but it's more of like a collective effort. Like Soto and Manny, those are 2 guys that I trust to swing at first pitch or not swing at the first pitch because I feel like they have a really good plan of what they're doing. I'm not saying other guys don't, but just based on track record, I feel like I can trust them. Crony, I feel like I can usually trust him with that, but I will admit there's been some pitches where it's fastball, middle in, and maybe he doesn't like that pitch first pitch. But the pull side is where he has his power, and he's watched a lot of those just from the eye test recently. Obviously, the one in Miami, I know that he wasn't ahead in the count there, but he got frozen there, fastball in. Stuff like that, just fastballs, just letting them go by. I know Grisham likes to do that a lot. There's some, I think Profar's done that a little bit recently. there's a lot of guys that do it. I don't want to single out one guy. It's most of the lineup. So hopefully they can be more aggressive the rest of this year. I'm not saying be overly aggressive or swing at balls on the first pitch, but if you get a fastball first pitch, go attack it. If it's where you want it. If it's a 3-1 count and you get a fastball in the strike zone, go attack it. You know, odds are the umpire's going to call it a strike, right? Ha-Seong Kim a lot. It feels like this year he starts walking to first base or whatever, and he gets called back when there's 3 balls and it's a strike. Again, I don't want to single out guys. I guess I am singling out guys. My bad. But that's kind of frustrating for me. But yeah, Josh Hader, obviously, that was disappointing. Thursday, Friday, that absolutely sucked. Watching him pitch there at the end, just hitting guys, walking guys, throwing balls into right field, giving up home runs or a home run. And then you go back to that Giants game where he didn't have command either. And I believe Tim Hill had to come in after him and push it to the bottom of the ninth with the tie game. They had a 4-1 lead, I believe, in that Giants game. I was at that game. That was painful. Maybe it's me. Maybe whenever I go and Josh Hader comes in, he's trash. I don't know. But yeah, it hasn't been pretty. He didn't pitch today and I went. So I don't know. But yeah, not pretty. Not pretty at all. If you have any thoughts on Hader, have any thoughts about the Padres this series in general, let me know. The Padres, again, if you're just tuning in here, they are now 68-56. 9 hits today, 7 hits for the Nationals. They won 2-1 today, won 2-1 yesterday, lost Thursday and Friday. They have an off day tomorrow. They got the Cleveland series coming up Tuesday and Wednesday at Petco. Clevenger's scheduled to throw Tuesday. TBD on Wednesday. Cal Quantrill, former Padres, supposed to throw Wednesday for Cleveland. Aaron Savali is scheduled to throw against Clev on Tuesday at 6:40. Clev facing his former team. Austin Hedges making his return to Petco Park. Who's going to boo him? Let me know in the chat. Who's going to boo Austin Hedges when he comes up to the plate? Because that guy, man, he was good defensively, but he could not hit. I know we've had a lot of guys that can't hit, but, as a catcher. But it was frustrating. A lot of strikeouts. The high leg kick, striking out. Man, that was tiring watching him. 17, 18, 16 even, 19. Holy cow. All right, let's get to some chat here. I've already read some of these, so I'm just trying to go down here. JD's third asked, does the lack of overall offense against the Nats and the worst pitching staff offense in Major League Baseball concern you at all? 5-5 against the Nats and the Marlins. Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah, the offense has not been great. Does it concern me? Yeah, a little bit. Concerns me. What mainly concerns me more is because I saw what happened in that Dodger series at Dodger Stadium where they lost 3 out of 4, right? No, or did they got swept, right? Whatever it was. Sorry, I'm just getting series totally confused right now. But yeah, it was not great at all. I believe they got swept, that Dodger series. The last one that they played at Dodger Stadium. I'm more worried like that because I know those are teams we're going to have 9 games against them coming up. Dustin May, I believe, is coming back. That's what I'm more concerned about, not the offense against the Nationals and Marlins because they're not playing them anymore. But yeah, I get your point. They should be playing better against bad teams. They definitely should be. I agree with that. So, look, I've said this multiple times. Josh Bell with these 2 home runs these last couple days, they just got to play better. The players that they got at the trade deadline, they just got to play better. Josh Bell's got to he's got to be more consistent at the plate. Got to show that power, right? Brandon Drury, I like what I've seen from him some of the time. I'd like him to be more consistent. Josh Hader, obviously, 2 games Thursday, Friday, where they had a really good opportunity to win. On Thursday, he had the bases loaded there, didn't come through, and obviously Josh Hader sucking Thursday and Friday, losing the games there. The people that they got back at the trade deadline, excluding Juan Soto, they have to be better more consistently. You like Profar to get back to the guy that he was being earlier this year. Crony to be more consistent. Trent Grisham, I had a tweet out before Saturday's game. He's gotten on base 9 of the last 10 games. When he didn't get on Friday, that wasn't great. Obviously, that was when he struck out, bases loaded there. He didn't get on at all in the rest of that game on not was it Friday? No, Thursday. Sorry. But I think he's been doing pretty good. I like what I've seen. He's kind of like a second half guy. It feels like with him and Snell. Just guys need to be more consistent. That's all it is. Much easier said than done. I understand that, but I'm still confident in this team that guys can definitely turn it around. And if Manny and Soto are going to be producing consistently, like it feels like they will be the rest of the year, and then you add in Drury and Bell and Crony and guys like that do produce, like we know they can, then the offense is going to look a lot better. Yeah, Luke. Yeah, Irie says here, Luke, you want to face the Padres? Nah, my back hurts. Was it his back? I didn't know what injury it was, but yeah, he played Thursday, and then I think he got scratched, right? Friday, Saturday, and today wasn't in the lineup. I looked Friday before as I was going to the game, and I saw Luke in the lineup on MLB on the MLB app, and then I looked later, and he wasn't in the lineup. So yeah, must have got scratched there. Oh wow, I did not know this. JD's third says Sandy gave up 6 runs in 4 innings today. If we can't sweep the Nets, what are our chances? What are our chances at what? At winning a World Series? I don't think they have the best chances at winning the World Series. I'd be probably stupid to say that. I'd definitely be biased trying to say that and being too optimistic. Um, I think the Mets are probably a better team right now. Dodgers. Uh, I know the Astros have looked good, but I'm more focused on the National League teams. The Braves look pretty good. But look, this is one series. Like, what matters is they get into the postseason, and then they get hot at the end of the regular season against the Giants and the White Sox. Those last 2 series of the season, right? That's kind of what matters. And obviously, the games they play against the Dodgers matter, right? At least for our, I don't know, our mental health or whatever, or our sense of security, or the fans' confidence, right? If they can play better against the Dodgers these next 9 games that they play against them the rest of the way, I think we'll feel better about our chances to go far. Yeah, like I said earlier, JD's third. I know that it's not a good look. I said it at the top. I think they should have won this series. A series split is disappointing, but a series split's better than a series loss. And there's still a month and a couple weeks left in the year for the offense to get going, and 2 guys find it out and 4 guys to find it out, you know? Yeah, Padres are going to break the record this season for most runners left on base. Someone else says here. I don't know if that's true, but yeah, I think they lead the league by like 40 or 50 runners on base. At least that's the graphic I saw on Bally yesterday during the game. Yeah, it's a lot of runners. It's a lot of runners. Um, yeah, I mean, today let's see how many runners they left on base this series. 5 today. Or excuse me, that was the wrong team, I think. Hold on one second. Let me go back to today's game. 6 today. 11 yesterday, so 17. 24 the last 3 games. And then 24 plus 8, 32. 32, at least from what I just counted there, 32 guys the Padres left on base in this series. I know it was 4 games, wasn't 3, but that's 8 left on base a game. That's pretty bad. So yeah, I agree. I know the offense needs to be better. I guess I'm just more optimistic than some of you guys. Getting back to the Josh Hader point, Irie says here, Hader's just burnt. Hope Niebla can fix him. Um, it feels like he knows what's going wrong. Like he even said it to reporters, so I'm confident about that. It was kind of like Joe Musgrove earlier this year, right, where he was struggling, but he told reporters, "Hey, I know what's happening here. My delivery is just inconsistent. Um, we're gonna fix it," and it looks like he has. He's been pitching much better the last few starts. And with Hader, kind of like his release point, he's working east to west instead of north south. So it feels like he knows what's going on here, and so I'm confident that he'll be able to get it fixed. I don't know how long it's going to take, but I'm confident that he will get it fixed at some point. Um, and this whole stuff about Brewers knowing that Hader was cooked, they're awesome at developing pitchers. I mean, it's much easier for them to trade Hader when they have Devin Williams as their closer, right? The Padres, when they acquired Hader, he was going to be their closer easily. Like they didn't have, they traded Rogers. Rogers because Rogers was really struggling. They didn't believe in him. He's not a high velocity guy. Hader has that high velocity. I think he can touch 99. And when he's on, he's arguably the best closer in baseball. So from the Padres' point of view, they were getting an upgrade. From the Brewers' point of view, they were saying, "Hey, we have Devin Williams as our closer. We can go get back Estier Ruiz and I know Lamet. They just DFA'd him, I think, right when they got him. But they can get back Robert Gasser, who's probably going to be a good reliever for them, right? Um, and they probably looked at it as like, yeah, we can say this to our fan base. We still have Devin Williams here. Um, we still have a good roster. I don't think that Brewers fans would be telling the truth to themselves if they thought even with Hader they'd be a World Series team, World Series contender. I just don't think so. With the National League's very, very talented this year, they might not make the playoffs. Right? I think they were behind the Padres when they traded Hader, so it wasn't going to be a guarantee that they would have made the playoffs. So, in terms of that trade, like it's very early to even judge that trade, obviously. And there's some guy we're not going to know fully about that trade for the next until 2024 or whatever, 2025, when Ruiz and Gasser are up for them. But for the Padres, I understand it, and I think I don't think he's cooked. I don't think the Brewers thought he was cooked. I think they saw that they have Devin Williams in the bullpen, to be honest. And from judging from like the Brewers clubhouse and guys um, like Christian Yelich and other people in that clubhouse when they were speaking to the media after that trade deadline, they wanted Hader to stay, obviously. So I don't think they thought Hader was cooked either. This is a good point by L2 here. Thought it was widely known that Hader's wife is going through a very rough patch with her pregnancy. His head and heart are not on the field. The guy's justifiably distracted. Why analyze him? I think they've already had a kid. I don't know. I don't follow their personal life closely. Um, but yeah, it's a good point. Um, I would think when you're on the mound, your head's totally in it. But yeah, he could be distracted, yeah, and that's a valid point. I'm definitely not gonna bash that point or anything. Um, but in terms of your question about why analyze him, well, because that's kind of our jobs. People that talk about baseball, talk about the Padres. That's just what we do. Um, we don't know everyone's personal lives. I'm sure a lot of fans don't know his personal life or anything. So what we're judging is on the field because we care about the Padres trying to win games here, and we want the Padres to win games. And on Thursday and Friday, he prevented the Padres from having a chance to go win that game because he blew it in a tie game. You know, Yu Darvish pitched really well, and Hader blew it. Um, on Friday, Hader blew it. You know, we're just judging on the field. So it's nothing. I want to make this clear, at least from my point of view. It's definitely nothing personal against him. Um, we're just judging on the field. We're judging that, hey, this was supposed to be, the best closer, one of the best closers in baseball when we acquired him. And it feels like almost every player that comes to the Padres, whenever they do, they aren't that player anymore, you know? So that's where it's coming from. And we're analyzing him because we care about the team on the field. That would be my answer to that. Oh, Gabe might be the bad sign here. He says he's gone to 5 games this season and they've lost all 5. All right, well, maybe don't go to more. No, I'm kidding. Go to games. It's been a great atmosphere. Crowd showing up. Sorry, we got another spammer in here. Got to block that. Okay, Turbo says give Hader another try with a big lead or a blowout or give him the 7th. Yeah, well, I think that's what's gonna happen. Yeah, you're spot on. I think the next time that Hader comes in, it's gonna be in a low leverage situation. It's not gonna be, a tie game, you know? I said after Thursday's game that, um, I thought Hader should have gotten another chance on Friday if it was a high leverage situation, just because he's your guy, you gotta go to him, have trust in him. Bomel did that. He did exactly that. Gave him that another chance, and he blew it. That's on Hader. And Melvin did the right thing, and now he's not the closer, at least temporarily. And PA Fruck here says, I don't think anyone will boo him. I think you're talking about Hader. No, people booed him on Friday night. I was there on field level, sitting there in the Premier Club. Yeah, he got booed. And rightfully so. He stunk Thursday and Friday. What else do you want me to say? No, he got booed off the field. I think he deserves to. Like, this team has, these World Series aspirations, And so when you have World Series aspirations, you're just trying to get to the postseason, and this guy's coming in and blowing games that you have chances of winning, the fans are gonna be really frustrated. And again, rightfully so. They definitely have that right. Turbo asks, "When is hitting gonna be contagious?" I wish it was. Um, it feels like it is when the offense is going right, but it's really more like on an individual basis. Like, it's not. I don't know what other sport to compare it to, but like some guys, it's on matchups. There's some guys that see a pitcher really, really well, and then there's some teammates that same guy will go talk to and say, "Hey, dude, I can't help you out here. I don't see this guy well at all," you know. Or they're going to that teammate and saying, "Hey, I don't see this guy good at all. Can you help me out here?" And the guy that sees that pitcher well, he's probably like, I'm seeing the ball and hitting the ball. I'm looking out of the ball. The ball comes out of his hands early, but maybe that hitter doesn't see that, or maybe it's a lefty that's seeing him well and a righty's not. Like, it is kind of based on matchups. Like, I wish it was contagious, but that's not really how baseball is. Thank you for the super chat, JD's Third. By the way, if you want to support the channel like JD's Third just did, you can use that super chat button. On regular videos, you can use the super thanks button. If you want to support the channel, just daily Padres content here on the Talking Friars YouTube channel, and the episodes, series reactions, interviews, um, sometimes episodes talking about other Padres topics during the week as well. It's available on the podcast platforms as well: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all that stuff. I appreciate everyone's support. Even if you don't support the channel like financially, I appreciate you being here just talking Padres. Keep believing. Yeah, JD, sorry, I didn't read that comment. Yeah, keep the faith. I still have faith in this team. Yeah, the offense hasn't been great. A lot of guys left on base. What I say, 32, I think I said earlier in this episode. 32 guys left on base this weekend. Not great. But there's a lot of talent in this lineup. I still believe Josh Hader will turn it around because he's identified the problem at least, right? So that's a positive. I'm trying to look at the positives here sometimes. Randall asks, he has a question here. Did the Padres get a new closer? Uh, it's closer by committee. They had Garcia yesterday. They had Nick Martinez today. I thought he looked really good. Um, it's closer by committee to answer that question, Randall. It could be Chris Matt. It could be, I don't know if it would be Tim Hill, but Robert Suarez, I thought he looked good this weekend. Could be him at some points. It's going to be closer by committee. All right, so I think that's going to do it. Padres, Guardians on Tuesday, Wednesday. Got the off day on Monday, tomorrow. This has been episode 219, Talking Friars podcast and YouTube show, brought to you by Gaglione Bros, famous cheesesteaks and garlic fries. You can visit gaglionebros.com to view their entire menu, the Friars Road address. They're located inside Petco Park, and I believe they're going to be inside Snapdragon Stadium as well, starting on September 3rd when San Diego State has their first home football game, September 17th when the San Diego Wave host LAFC, their first, or Angel City FC, sorry, their first women's soccer game. So there's multiple locations that you can have great cheesesteaks and garlic fries. So I encourage you to check them out if you have not already. If you haven't, you're missing out. But yeah, Ben Fadden signing off here. Hopefully you guys enjoy your Sunday night. That'll do it. Thank you guys for tuning in. Go Padres, keep the faith, and I'll see you guys later.